Sprayers are an amazing tool to help take your lawn to the next level. Coming up, I'll share tips on how I use a backpack sprayer to get results like this, so you can too. The biggest reason to get comfortable with using a sprayer is that it opens up a huge world of products that can really help boost the quality of your lawn. Now, although I'm going to be walking through a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, which is my sprayer of choice, the important thing to keep in mind is that the brand or type of sprayer doesn't matter as much as your ability to use it properly. So I may show some things that my sprayer has that yours doesn't, but don't feel like a lot of the content in this video isn't going to apply to you, because really the tips and tricks really apply to all sprayer types. So for anyone that's brand new, if you've never seen one of these before, or just what the various parts of the sprayer are, so you've got your spray tank, which holds the solution, so the mixture of water and whatever product you happen to be applying. Better sprayers will also include a filter of some sort. If your sprayer comes with one of these, you really want to use it because it helps keep debris out of the tank, which keeps it out of the pump, and the wand, and helps prevent blockages in your spray tip. So as far as just preventing a bunch of headaches, if your sprayer came with a filter, you absolutely want to use it. Now, this sprayer has a variable pressure system. Yours may or may not have that. And the reason for that is it allows you to spray at high pressure and low pressure. What I'll tell you is that, having used this for years and years and years, is that 95% of the time, my sprayer sits on the low pressure setting. The spray tips that I use really are designed to be used at around between 45 and 55 PSI. And that lower pressure setting is pretty much where my sprayer lives. So if you don't have a sprayer that has variable settings, don't feel like you're really missing out. And if you have one that has, a bunch of different settings, I would work on using it more towards the lower end, because most of the spray tips you're going to use are going to be set up for lower pressure settings. Again, between 45 to 50 PSI. Next up, we have the wands, the various parts of the sprayer, right? So you have like the gun, which is obviously when the battery's in here, you press this and it makes the solution come out. You've got the wand, and then you've got the nozzle. So if there's anything that really will, that's worth learning or getting comfortable with when it comes to a backpack sprayer, is nozzle selection. The nozzle allows you to tune the sprayer depending on the type of product that you are applying. So at the end of this wand, this sprayer has a quick disconnect. So you can see here, I can just pull down really quickly here and remove that. And it allows me to switch out different nozzles which serve different purposes. So really, when it comes to spray nozzles, there's two major categories or classes of nozzles that you're going to want to be using on your lawn care program. You have foliar spray nozzles, so ones that look like the one that was in here already. It's going to be like a red spray tip like this. These are often referred to as fan tips. What this does is it produces a finer droplet size in a maybe 110 degree cone. And that finer droplet is appropriate for spraying any products that need to coat the leaf of the plant. So you can think about products like liquid fertilizers, your biostimulants, growth regulators, post-emergent herbicides, so herbicides that are designed to kill weeds that are actively growing in your lawn. Most of those products use foliar type spray tips, which is what this one is. So you're going to want to invest in one of these, assuming your sprayer doesn't already have one. You can see it's like a finer opening there. And again, what this does is it produces a finer droplet size. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that although my sprayer has an interchangeable quick connect, right? So I can simply swap between different spray tips. If yours doesn't have this, what pretty much all sprayers will have is an end cap that can be unscrewed. So for example, if this were your sprayer and it were like a fixed unit, right? Most sprayers will still have the ability to unscrew this tip, which will enable you to swap nozzles if you need to. The big thing to keep in mind is if you do this is to, there's a seal in there. Make sure you put that gasket back in between nozzle swaps. But that's the big thing. If your sprayer does have an interchangeable system, I'd recommend getting a couple of quick disconnects. That way you can leave the nozzle in there, and it's just a lot more convenient. Okay, so the first spray tip type is your fan tip, your foliar spray tip, all right? Next up is the spray tip that you're going to use for pretty much any kind of soil-based applications. So this is considered or called a flood jet tip, and you'll notice if you compare it to the foliar spray tip, whereas it's got a very fine opening, this one has got a notch, so a much bigger opening, right? And the reason for that is that this produces much larger droplets. So if you're applying products like anything that goes in the soil, so like pre-emergent herbicides, so herbicides that are designed to prevent weeds from growing in your lawn, fungicides, insecticides, pretty much any soil-based product, you're going to want to go with a larger droplet for best results, and a flood jet nozzle like this helps produce that. So really, you need two types of spray tips. You need a foliar and you need a flood jet. All right. Those are the big things that I'd say are important regardless of the spray you have. And again, this nozzle comes out. So if you have one where this is all fixed, you can unscrew the end cap and make your swap. So outside of nozzle selection, probably the most important thing that you're going to want to get right when it comes to getting the best results out of a sprayer is calibration. And while it sounds like a big fancy word, all calibration is ensuring that you're putting out 1 gallon of solution of product mix over 1,000 square feet. So why 1 gallon over 1,000 square feet? Well, most lawn care products that you use, whether it be liquid fertilizer, growth regulators, pre-emergents, most of them call for a dilution rate of 1 gallon of water mixed with the product, and that solution, meaning the product and the water, is sprayed over 1,000 square feet. So by figuring out how long it takes you to walk 1,000 square feet, which is like a 20 by 50 foot area of your lawn, you can ensure that whenever you're walking, you're going to put out a gallon of solution to over 1,000 square feet. Now, I've got another video that I'll link towards the end of this one that walks all through sprayer calibration. I can promise you, even though it sounds really complicated and fancy, it really isn't. It takes like 5 minutes if you're really slow to get it done. But that's the next thing you really want to do to get the most out of your sprayer. All right. So again, our goal is 1 gallon of solution over 1,000 square feet, and calibrating your sprayer is going to allow you to do that. Now, when it comes to, we're going back to spray nozzles for just a second here, right? So when it comes to spray nozzles, right, if you've got the foliar spray tip, right, you'll notice that this guy, we've got the gun angled. If I were walking, this is designed to spray down and in front of me, all right? So if I'm walking along the lawn, living my best life, and I'm spraying, this is going to cast a cone that's in front of where I'm walking, about, I don't know, 2-3 feet in front of me. All right. For the flood jet nozzle, it's important that you change the orientation of how the nozzle is mounted, if you're assuming you have a connect like this, to get the best results. So this would be the correct orientation for a foliar spray tip. For a flood jet spray tip, you'll notice that, I'll put this in, you'll notice that it's curved upwards, right? So whereas the foliar spray tip, it's curved down, the flood jet spray tip, it comes down the lawn and it's curved to where this is parallel with the ground. The reason for that is if you look, you see how our notch there is pointed straight down, right? In that orientation, that's what you're after. So with this guy, the notch needs to point straight down, and the curve is such that when you're walking, the product, the solution is coming straight down out of the sprayer, whereas with the foliar spray tip, it's going slightly forward. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Assuming you've got a sprayer like this with a wand like this, and you're using the flood jet spray tip. Some people have trouble with these, but this is the correct orientation to get the correct result. Okay, so we've covered spray tip selection. The next thing is let's cover mixing products. All right, so if you're adding products to the tank to be able to spray it on your lawn, what I'd recommend is that you first fill the sprayer between halfway to 3/4 of the way full. It depends on how many products you're adding to the tank, but I typically go about 3/4 of the way full with just water. And then you will add the product, and then you'll add any, depending on what you're applying, you'll add any marker dyes or spray adjuvants like a spreader sticker. Cap it, shake it up, get it all nicely suspended, and then finish filling it up. And then again, give it one more shake and off you go. So it really depends on the products that you're using. Again, so if we use an example, if I were, if I were applying, say, pre-emergent, right? If I were applying, say, pre-emergent on my lawn, what I would do is I would weigh out the correct amount of the product. I would fill this, again, 3/4 of the way full. I would add the pre-emergent to the tank, and then I would add a bit of blue dye, a bit of blue marker dye to the tank. Again, with it only 3/4 of the way full, cap it and give it a good shake. How much to shake it? I'll tell you for pre-emergent, this tends to take a bit more shaking to get it fully suspended. So I typically go between 20 to 30 shakes. So depending on, how strong you are or how vigorously you shake your tank, you can adjust from there, but you want to make sure it's nicely suspended, that solution of water and the product is nicely blended. Then again, the cap comes off, you finish filling it all the way up, cap it nice and tight, give it another shake, and then you're off to the races. Again, the sequence is water, your primary products, and the last things to go in the tank are typically your surfactants if you're using post-emergent herbicides and dyes. That's the order that I typically like to use, and I get good results with it. All right, so you have selected your spray tips, you have calibrated your sprayer, you've got the confidence, you've sprayed your lawn, all is well and good, right? No. There's one last step, and it's really important to, one, prolonging the longevity of the sprayer, and also preventing you from having, a bad day in case you don't do this. So an important aspect of having these guys last is to keep them clean. So what I do is whenever I'm done spraying my lawn, so I run all the product out of the sprayer rather, I'll add about a gallon of just water to the tank. I'll slosh it around, get that nicely agitated, and then dump that out. And then I'll add another gallon of water, right? Again, just clean water, nothing else added to the tank. And then I will run the sprayer for 30 seconds, just running just straight water through it. The reason for that is you get, if there's happen to be any residue that's left, you get that out of the tank, you get it out of the wand, you get it out of the spray tip, and it just helps prevent deposits from forming, prevents blockages, and it's just a great way to keep your sprayer in good form. Like when these sprayers were first released, like I'm using the sprayer here from Yard Mastery, like mine is serial number 6. So I've got one of the first ones that came out, and it still works today as good as the first day I got it, right? So it's an excellent sprayer. And again, the big part of that is just making sure you keep the sprayer clean. Another reason to do that is you prevent accidents. So let's say you went out and you sprayed, herbicides on your lawn. Worst case, let's say you were taking care of weeds in a sidewalk, right? So you're using glyphosate, something, a post-emergent herbicide that is non-selective, meaning it'll damage or kill any plant that you get it on. If you happen to, spray a few weeds here and there and then leave, I don't know, maybe even just a little bit in the tank, you don't clean the tank out, and then you go out, a week, a month later and grab the sprayer to go spray fertilizer on your lawn and you don't rinse it out, now you're spraying a non-selective herbicide along with your fertilizer, and it will damage your grass. So as far as just a way to prevent unnecessary injury to your turf grass and prolong the longevity of your equipment, absolutely keep it clean. That's something that I can't really stress enough, and it really is. It's really something that takes 2 minutes to do. Right. It also, by keeping your sprayer clean, it's going to reduce the need for you to have multiple sprayers. Some folks will have a sprayer that's dedicated for spraying fertilizers, biostimulant, growth regulators, pretty much the stuff that's not going to kill plant life, and then they'll have a second sprayer that's dedicated to herbicides. I don't really see a need to do that. And as long as you keep your sprayer clean, I literally will swap between herbicides and fertilizer, and I've never had a problem using that approach. Again, rinse the tank out, and then add a gallon of water or so to the tank, run it for 30 seconds, and then you're good to go. Now, there'll be links in the descriptions for everything that I've shown in this video. So if you need the spray tips for your sprayer of choice, you'll be able to pick these up. These will work in pretty much any sprayer. The nozzles are fairly universal. If you need a backpack sprayer, I'll also have the one that I showed in the video, also linked below this video and in the description. If you want some more guidance on calibration and just some other tips on using a sprayer to get great results, I have a video right here on the screen that you can watch next. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I will see you in the next video.